guys, welcome back to the conversation. Happy New Year. It's 2020. These New Year videos I always find to be quite tedious because I don't know. It's always just like, oh, now I have to make a list of like all of the things that I'm gonna do and all the things I didn't do and da 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 da. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not going to make a list of the things I didn't do because nobody needs to know that. I know enough for myself. So I spent New Year's Eve doing a lot of self-reflection, as I spoke about on my Instagram page. I wanted to do a lot of self-reflection and kind of see where the year brought me to, because 2019 for me was definitely an intensely educational year. It taught me a lot about myself, and I just wanted to kind of have some quiet time to kind of play that back over in my head and just kind of not relive certain moments, but to just kind of acknowledge, like, this happened, this was real, this was where you were, and this is where you are now. And it was really emotional for me. It was really emotional for me. At the beginning of the year for 2019, a lot had happened in 2018 that had shaken me to my core. And so when I went into 2019, I kind of ran in headfirst, full speed, not paying attention to anything around me, just thinking to myself, if I keep moving, I don't have to focus on all of the things in the past. I can just keep going. Downside to that is when you run full speed ahead without paying attention to your surroundings, well, you're not paying attention to your surroundings, and anything can happen. And it did happen. In March, I ended up hitting a wall, and a proverbial wall, and the wall didn't stop me or bruise me, it shattered me, like completely shattered me. And then I was left for the remainder of 2019 picking up the pieces of this shattered me. One of the things I will say is I'm not saddened anymore by the fact that it happened, because I think what was really needed was I really needed to self-evaluate myself. And I don't know if that works, but I needed to really look deep within and kind of fix me. And there were so many things about me that I'd been putting off. And when you kind of shatter, you kind of see, when you break a plate, you kind of see all the pieces, right? And being shattered, I kind of saw all the pieces of myself, and it gave me an opportunity to say, that piece doesn't fit here. That piece doesn't belong here. How did that piece get here? What is that piece? And kind of weed out the like bad pieces that were there, and the pieces that just didn't belong. And it was really helpful. It was really helpful. A lot of people who have been around me for 2019 didn't realize that I was actually going through a lot. Like, a lot of people just kind of saw me with like a smile on my face, like being regular Riyo, but a lot of people didn't realize that like regular Riyo when she got home was emotional wreck Riyo. Like, when Riyo got home, Riyo literally, I don't know, I'm speaking about myself in the third person, but when I got home, I would literally come straight to my room and I would just shut all the lights off in my house except for my night light, because you know I don't play full darkness. And yeah, like, it was a lot. Like, it was a whole lot. And it's true that you never really know what people are going through behind closed doors, and a lot of people didn't. A lot of people truly did think that, yeah, man, Riyo's okay, look, she's smiling. And like, yeah, sure, for us to outside I was smiling, on the inside not so much. But I did learn a lot for 2019. I learned that, one, as much as I like to tell myself that I am alone, I'm actually not alone. And I appreciate the people in my life who know how hard it is for me to accept that I'm not alone and yet never give up. The people who consistently are like, yo, like, you don't have to talk to me right now, but you know I'm here. You don't have to talk to me right now, but I'm gonna be here. Like, those people, they really held me down this year, and I don't even think half of them realize that they actually saved my life a lot of those times when they said something to me or did something to me or like shook my hand, or like, they will never know how grateful I am for what they did for me in 2019, because I never really spoke about what I was going through in 2019. But it definitely shook me up. I don't know. It's weird when you kind of look back on it and you're able to speak on it finally, because you're like, I didn't think I'd ever be able to, but here we are, and like, I'm really proud that I can sit here and like not fall apart. And that's mainly in part due to the fact that I had so many people in my corner telling me, like, you're gonna come through this, like, you're gonna make this through. And like, I did. I learned a lot about me in 2019, and I learned that, like, there are so many times where I've taken the blame for other people in certain situations when I shouldn't have. And I guess it's kind of like a mechanism in me where like, I don't want you to feel bad. And I know that if you take the blame on yourself, you'll feel bad. So I'll take the blame for you. And that isn't the case anymore. I'm learning now how to best handle those situations. I'm learning how best to handle my own emotions and how to articulate it a lot better to be like, I can't be around people right now. Like, I need to be by myself. And to be like, no, I can actually be fine around people. And that was a really big lesson for me. But yeah, there were so many different lessons I learned in 2019. So for me, I think I will say 2019 definitely was an intensely educational year. And I am now looking forward to 2020. I don't have a set plan or agenda for 2020. I think I'm just walking in. That's just it. I'm just going to walk into the year and just take my time and just pace myself. Take a look around, like, you know, stop and smell the roses. And I think that's the best way to do it. As opposed to, like, I'm not running from anything. I fought what I needed to fight. I stood and fought what I needed to fight in 2019. And I've dragged myself out of the battlefield after that war. And I'm now standing here in 2020 and I'm ready. Like, I genuinely feel like I'm actually ready, which very rarely happens. Fun fact. I don't think I've ever felt as ready as I do for 2020 as I have for any year. Like, you know how New Year's Day, like New Year's Eve, people are always like, oh my gosh, it's the last day of the year. Ooh, I'm ready for the new year. Like, I've never been that person. And I still am not that person because I just don't talk like that. But no, like, I genuinely feel like I'm actually ready for 2020. And that's a pretty big thing for me. Again, don't know what I'm doing, but I know that there are things in the works. I know I'm on a specific path and I know that there are plans out and I'm ready for that. A lot of people were doing the decade throwback, and it kind of inspired me to do a decade throwback. And then I went to research it and just sat there crying mess because I've been told by a lot of people that I'm not the same person I was back then. And it's something people try and tell me all the time, but I never really believe them because in my head I'm like, nah, I am still that person because you still take me for a mug. People still take advantage of me. It's a thing. But looking back and reflecting on myself and who I was a decade ago, I was shocked. I sat there, I cried, I laughed, I went on a whole journey. New Year's Eve was a very different day for me. I went on a whole journey and I kind of discovered things about me that I was like, yo, I didn't know this. Yo, what? And not specifically in that accent, but I don't know why. When I'm in super intense mode, I tend to go really hood and yo, man, what, son? I don't know why that is, but yeah. But looking back, I found a picture, and this picture kind of jarred me. At the beginning of 2019. The beginning of a decade ago, I lost everyone who I had considered a friend. Everyone who I considered to be my close circle, I'd been ostracized, thrown away like yesterday's trash. I was just ignored. I had people on my social medias writing stuff to me. I had people emailing me stuff. It was a very intense time. It was a lot for me to take, especially considering around a decade ago is when I started to realize that something wasn't right with me, emotionally. I couldn't place my finger on it. I was having too many up and down days. I couldn't figure out what it was, and then to have that happen, it was everything just kind of landed on me and it broke me. And so a decade ago, I literally had to take me and rebuild me. And so what you guys are looking at is the rebuilt version of me, which says a lot considering that the rebuilt version of me isn't really great, isn't 100% rebuilt. But hey, I'm here, right? Yeah, so a decade ago, I started looking at these pictures and I made a kind of list for myself. A decade ago, I had to revamp myself. And here I am now. A stronger, better me, I guess. Getting stronger. A decade ago, I changed my name. So a lot of people don't know that, so my full name is Oriyomi. My full first name is Oriyomi. And Everyone used to call me Yomi for short. I wasn't really a massive fan of it, but it was my name, and I kind of really liked my name because Yomi means save me, like Yomi. Yeah. Anyways. I don't know why I just did that. Anyways, so I decided I wanted a different name after going through what I'd gone through. I was like, I need to change me. I don't like who I am. I don't like the me I am. Couldn't defend myself enough to be like, yo, I didn't do what I was accused of doing. I was like, I just need to be a different me. And so I sat down with all of my names, and if you know me, you know exactly what I mean by sat down with all of my names. And I went through all of my names, and I just was like, I wrote them all out, and I was just looking at it like, what can people call me? What can people call me? Bear in mind, I've always wanted to be an actress and everything like that, but I never had ever thought like, oh, I should have a stage name. Like, it was just fine. Like, I was just like, I'm just gonna be Yomi. Everyone would just call me Yoms for short. Like, I don't know, but please never call me Yoms. But yeah, I sat down and I remember seeing Riyo in my name and being like, ah, interesting. And then going to look up what Riyo meant and like finding out that in Spanish it means river. And I remember being like, yo, that's like super crazy because I believe I've mentioned it before that I love water. I love swimming. I used to swim competitively. Not like Olympic gold competitively, but I swam competitively in school. And I loved it. I wanted to be a mermaid. I've always loved water. I've loved the freedom of it and how water can literally do and go anywhere. It can be free to kind of just go. And it just felt like a name that just clicked for me, and so I did change my name to Riyo, much to a lot of my family's annoyance, because then they're like, what are we supposed to call you? I'm like, the same stuff you've been calling me. But like, yeah, like I did change it to Riyo, and it stuck, and people were like, yo, this name suits you, man, you look like a Riyo. And I'm like, okay, thank you. But yeah, like even up till today, like when I introduce myself to people and I'm like, hi, I'm Riyo, they was like, oh, that's unique. Suits you though. Suits you. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Goodness. But yeah, like a decade ago, it's crazy when I think about it that like a decade ago I became Riyo, and I'm Riyo. Like I'm her, you know, like that's who I am. And what else happened a decade ago? A decade ago, I never used to show my hair. I used to wear hats all the time. Like I had a collection on tap. Hats, headscarves, and the headscarves weren't like silk and like fine materials. No, like legit like polyester, like the randomest of materials that were not good for hair. I would literally wrap my head in it, and I would wrap my head, and I would like I used to wrap it and like make a big bun in the back with the material, and I would wear like super baggy clothing all the time, super baggy clothing, because I just hated my body and I hated how I looked, and I was just like, this is not me, yuck. And now, like, I'm not going to say I still hate myself. I don't hate myself as much as I did a decade ago, but I can look at myself and say now that I kind of like me, which for me is progress. But yeah, like, it's good to be at a stage where I can be like, I kind of like myself. I kind of like that. What else? A decade ago, and this was one of the biggest ones that really kind of jarred my soul. A decade ago, I officially made the choice that London wasn't home for me and I needed to leave and find out where my place was. And here I sit a decade later in my apartment in Canada, no longer in London, building this life for myself out here, and it's crazy. Like, I sit back and I think about it and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, like literally, I sat on the couch New Year's Eve, and I literally was like, a decade ago, you were in London, and you said to yourself, I'm not staying in London anymore. And it's crazy. It's crazy, like, looking back on it, and looking back on all the things that I went through to get here, all the things I've been through since I've been here, like, just everything building up to this moment, to this here. Like, it's been progressive. It's definitely been progressive. The last decade, I definitely would label it as progressive. Progressively educational, if you will. I believe everything is a lesson. So yeah, definitely been progressively educational. And it's crazy because, like I said before, people have said to me that, like, I'm not the same person, and it always was really hard for me to believe that I wasn't the same person. But looking back, when you actually physically look back and look at pictures, posts, all of those things, you kind of do realize that no, you're not the same person. And I think that for me was what was really eye-opening. So yeah, anyways, that's that. I have nothing else to say. I'm looking forward to 2020. I hope you guys are looking forward to 2022. I'm wishing you all the best for 2020. I say we like it's a whole team of us. It's just me. I'm working on a different segment for you guys as well. So on top of Thankful Thursdays, if you guys follow me on Instagram, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't, there's still time. Rush over to my Instagram and click that follow button. But yeah, so anyways, the new segment is going to be called Make It Make Sense. Now, you've probably heard me say this statement in a couple of my other videos where I'm like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. When something baffles me, I'm just like, make it make sense. And so I was talking with my friend Daniel Gomez, who didn't think he was going to get a shout out in this video, but shout out what? But yeah, he basically was like, why don't you have a Make It Make Sense segment on your like YouTube channel? And I was like, why don't I? So I've decided I'm going to start one. And essentially, it's a segment that kind of involves everyone. So either the Make It Make Sense will either be something I have a question on, where I'm like, oh guys, make it make sense, and I will talk about it at the end of the videos. It'll be like a really short clip segment thing. Or you guys can actually send in some Make It Make Sense moments that I can feature in the video too. So you guys can hit me up on any of my social media outlets. They all going to be posted in that part down there. And basically you can send it in as a comment, you can send it in as a video. If you see me on the street and you're like, hey man, make it make sense, totally, I don't mind. Just when you do it, put hashtag make it make sense so I can find it. And it could be anything, it could be any sort of question. Like there's no question that's too stupid or too dumb or whatever. Like if it's something that baffles you, there may be somebody watching the video that can be like, oh, I can make that make sense. And that's another thing. If you see a make it make sense and you're like, oh, I can make that make sense, by all means, make it make sense. Because again, that's a conversation, isn't it? So yeah, stay tuned for all of those fun stuff. I will be featuring the Make It Make Sense segment at the end of this video, just because it's the first video and I'm still kind of going through the ones I've collected already. So in the very next video, which I'm not going to tell you when it's coming because I don't know when it's coming, I will feature it then. But yeah, this year's gonna be something. I don't know what that something is. I'm just going to leave that part open because I don't want to kind of plan ahead and then be disappointed or be like underwhelmed or whelmed. So yeah, this year is going to be something and I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys have an amazing 2020. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. As you guys know already, if you've watched all the other videos, you know I'm completely rubbish when it comes to like signing off. So, and still in 2020, I still don't have a sign off. So yeah, I'm just gonna end it there and be like, thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Thank you for everyone who stayed and subscribed. I appreciate you all. And yeah, be cool, be chill, stay hydrated.